What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Anfernee, and in this video I want to talk about a little habit that has honestly been changing the entire trajectory of my life. Now, I don't mean to sound too dramatic, but I do believe that this habit has single-handedly caused the greatest shift in my productivity, in my finances, in my personal life, and it was all thanks to a self-help book that I read not too long ago. So the reason why I titled the video the way that I did, as in the daily routine that will make you a millionaire, is because this is a personal finance channel, and on this channel I tend to give a lot of investing advice, side hustle advice, overall advice on how to make and keep your money, but this one is not necessarily geared only towards money. If you implement this habit in your life, not only will it increase your chances of becoming a millionaire, but it will overall make you a much happier and productive person. So what am I getting at here? The book that this video is based on is called The 5 a.m. Club. Now, many of you may have read it already. I've heard of it before, but I had never actually picked it up myself, let alone looked into the habits that it taught in the book. And those habits that I've implemented from that book into my life is what I want to discuss in this video. So obviously we're talking about the 5 a.m. Club. As you may expect, it involves waking up at 5 a.m. every single day. However, me, when I was at my peak productivity in the past, and when I decided to wake up at 5 a.m., that version of my productive self in the past tended to look a lot different than what the version of myself looks now that I wake up at 5 a.m. every day. But one of the biggest factors nonetheless is waking up at 5 a.m. That is basically the whole point of the 5 a.m. Club. And a couple of tips that are actually taught in the book on how to wake up at 5 a.m. effectively is to get yourself a non-digital alarm clock in your bedroom and set the time to the alarm clock 30 minutes in advance, so that if you set your alarm for 5 a.m., when you wake up, you'll see 5:30 a.m., which will briefly trick your sleepy mind into thinking that it's 30 minutes later, therefore allowing you to wake up and get out of bed a little bit easier. But what I'm going to iterate a little bit later in this video is that joining the 5 a.m. Club is not necessarily about getting up and getting straight to work. One of the more powerful messages that I'm going to share later in the video is all about the victory hour, the hour between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. that is split between 3 parts that you use to work on yourself and that you use to become a better version of yourself, 1% better every single day. But as I said, one of the tricks of waking up at 5 a.m. could be setting your alarm 30 minutes earlier, but what I found to be most effective was immediately getting up as soon as you hear your alarm. The book states that you should not give your body any time, any chance to convince you to stay in bed, because as soon as those lingering thoughts think about how warm your comforter is, how warm and soft your pillows are, you're going to convince yourself immediately to stay in bed for extra 15, 30, or even 3 hours at times. So as I said, what I found to be most helpful was when I set my alarm to go off, as soon as I hear it, I immediately stand up. Sometimes when I get up, I'm a little bit dizzy, I'm a little bit dazed, I don't know necessarily where I'm at, but I do know that once I stand up, it's a lot harder for my body to convince me to get right back into bed once I'm already standing up. And then for me personally, as a member of the 5 a.m. Club, you don't want to necessarily wake up at 5 a.m., but you want to be getting your day started by 5 a.m. So what I do for myself personally, and what is taught in the book, is to set your alarm at 4:45 a.m. That way, by the time that you get up, get dressed, and get ready for the day, it will then be 5 a.m. and you will have your full victory hour to make yourself better for that day. Now, I know I briefly talked about the victory hour, but as we break down that victory hour between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., I want to reiterate the point that waking up at 5 a.m. or joining the 5 a.m. Club for me personally has not been about getting up and working at 5 a.m. I used to do that in the past. I used to try to wake up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. to get up and record YouTube videos, and I would quickly realize that I lost motivation with doing that so early, because no one necessarily wants to get up and get right to work. Your days just seem longer, you lose motivation, you get tired quicker in the middle. But having a victory hour for yourself has proven to be crucial and vital to me getting up at 5 a.m. and hopefully creating it as a lifetime habit, so much to the point that I even decide to do it on the weekends when I have the opportunity to sleep in. But because I love my victory hour so much, I get up at 4:45 a.m. to perform the activities of the victory hour regardless of what day it is. Now, you've heard me say victory hour a couple times in this video, and you may be wondering, as I was wondering as I read the book, what exactly you should do in that victory hour or that time between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m. And let me tell you, to be a little bit of a spoiler, when you are reading the book, it takes a really long time for them to get to the point of what you should do in the victory hour. And you think I may be exaggerating this, but the book is about 300 to 400 pages long, and it's all about teaching you the habits and the qualities of being a productive member in the 5 a.m. Club, but it doesn't get to what you should be doing at 5 a.m. until about 300 pages in. I kid you not. But because you watched this video, I'm going to go ahead and tell you of what activities are recommended that you do in the victory hour. So the victory hour is basically split up into 3 parts. You have the first part, which is moving. You have the second part, which is reflecting, and you have the third part, which is growing. And because the victory hour is split up into 3 parts, you can then allocate about 20 minutes to each part. So let's talk about the move stage. The move stage of the victory hour is between 5 a.m. and 5:20 a.m. and this is the stage where you want to be sweating. You want to be moving and you want to get your brain fired up to awaken for a great day of productivity. Now the book goes into a very winded explanation about all the benefits of working out, how it lengthens your neurons and all this good stuff. But basically what I want to tell you is that when you get up and you start moving in the morning, the rest of the day just seems to come so naturally to you. A lot of people struggle with waking up at 5 a.m. or 4:45 a.m. from the fact that they are just too tired to have a productive work day once they wake up at that time. But from my experience, once I get up and I start moving, it already feels like it's 10 or 11 o'clock in the morning because my brain is so awake from getting up and getting active that early in the morning. So here's my routine and some little tricks that they teach in the book for getting up and getting moving as efficiently as possible. So what I do the night before is I get my workout clothes ready. I put them on the sink. I put my shoes on the sink as well so that when my alarm goes off at 4:45 a.m., I immediately stand up. I walk to the bathroom. As sleepy as I am, I put my workout clothes on, go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, and then most days I'm out of the door ready to work out within 5 to 10 minutes. And what I have been doing in my move period is I have been running a fairly long stretch of road next to my house that has a lot of hills. That equates to about 3 total miles of running. That typically takes me about 20 minutes in the morning to do. So for the first 2 weeks while I was still reading the book, I ran 3 miles every morning at 5 a.m. and it was honestly a very peaceful and calming experience because there were very few cars out. The whole world felt like it was sleeping, and honestly it just gave me a chance to immerse myself in the nature of the run and just overall just think and not worry about the activities or projects that I had planned for myself later in the day. And since then I learned the value of rest and how you should take 1 to 2 rest days a week. And because I developed some pretty mild shin splints by running so much, I am now alternating running 3 miles at 5 a.m. with working out in the weight room in my garage for 20 minutes at 5 a.m. just to give my legs and my calves a break from running so much. Now I did run cross country in high school, but that was over 7 years ago now, so I'm definitely not in as great of a shape as I was back then. And then after I get home and do my move phase, I try to get home, get in the shower to stop sweating as quickly as possible to get into my reflection phase. And your reflection phase should last between 5:20 a.m. to 5:40 a.m. And what you want to be doing in your reflection phase is journaling, praying, being spiritual, but overall thinking to yourself what you want to do that day to make it the best day possible and how you plan to get 1% better that day so that you continue to grow as a person financially, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all that good stuff. You want to spend this 20 minutes thinking for yourself, praying, working on yourself to become better. So what I typically do during this stage myself personally is I put a fan beside me and start writing from my desk because even though I took a shower, I'm still hot from working out, and I try to journal for 5 to 10 minutes what the perfect day of that day would look like. And then after that I try to spend 5 to 10 minutes with the man upstairs doing a devotion or prayers. Or recently, what I'm going to talk about in a later video, I have been implementing this habit called 2 chairs where I actually set up a place for me and God to talk. I know this isn't a religious channel, so I'm going to leave a little bit of it out, but I do think that having a conversation with your spiritual overhead is a great use of your time during this stage of the 5 a.m. club. However, after you spend 20 minutes reflecting, you then want to move into the growth phase of the 5 a.m. club. And this stage is where you want to grow your knowledge, where you want to be an active learner and start actually exploring different options. I typically use this stage for myself personally to read more books like the 5 a.m. club and overall brainstorm new ideas of how I can be more creative, more productive, and reach further for my goals that day. And the growth phase is honestly one of my favorite phases, and I tend to stretch this phase from 20 minutes to about 30 to 40 minutes sometimes, and typically try to get done with this phase around 6:20 to 6:30 a.m. But also something that I did not mention was that from the time from 5 a.m. to 6 a.m., the book recommends that this is a no technology zone. That's one of the reasons why I have an old school analog watch on, because when I get up in the morning from the time I'm running, journaling, or trying to grow, I don't try to check any messages, look at my phone, overall use any digital technology at all, because I know that if I do, I will get sucked into the distraction that social media offers, and then I won't be as as productive in my 5 a.m. club routine as I could be. But overall, I think that if you implement this habit into your life, it can make you a millionaire because, for one, your days will feel longer and you will feel like you can get more done before noon than most people get done in half a week. You will have a ton of extra time to work on your passion projects, to work on your work projects to get ahead, and overall more time for yourself at the end of the day to truly immerse yourself in your friends and family instead of working all day long. And if you found any kind of value in this video and you want to know more about how I implement the 5 a.m. club to change my personal life, then hit that subscribe button, as I will be posting updates to my 5 a.m. club habit routine ritual as time goes on, just to see how consistent I am with it and how effective I really think it is. So if you like this video, then hit that like button for your boy. But until then, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.